Hey everyone, in this video, you'll learn how to use the Parkour and Climbing AI asset to create AI characters in your game that can traverse the environment using parkour and climbing actions. So here we have a sample scene with a player parkour character. So if I run this scene, the player should be able to perform parkour and climbing actions. We have already made a video that covers how to set up a player character that can perform parkour and climbing actions. So now let's look at how to set up an AI character that can perform parkour and climbing actions by using the Parkour and Climbing AI asset. So I have already installed the Parkour and Climbing AI asset. So once you install it from the asset store, you'll see this Parkour and Climbing AI folder. And if you go to the Tools menu, you'll also see the Parkour AI menu. All right. Just a quick note from the future. In the new version, the Parkour AI menu has been moved inside FS System. We decided to move all the FS System related menus inside this FS System category. So the first step to set up Parkour AI characters is to create a Navmesh surface. So for that, you can go to Parkour AI and click on Setup Navmesh Surface. All right. So this will create a game object with a Navmesh Surface Baker. So Navmesh Surface Baker is an extension of the Navmesh Surface component that comes with the Unity's AI system by default. So it's an extension, and in Navmesh Surface Baker, we have some additional settings for parkour. All right. So we don't need the Navmesh Surface. We just need the Navmesh Surface Baker. And by the way, the agent settings that you see over here might be different when you add a Navmesh Surface Baker for the first time. So you can just use the default value for most of the settings, but one setting that we recommend you to change is the radius of the agent. All right. So by default, the radius of the agent will be a high value like 0.5. But for parkour games, it's better to use an agent with much smaller radius. Only then our AI character will be able to walk on narrow ledges. Okay. So to change the radius, you can click on this drop down of agent type and then open agent settings. And then you can change the radius from here. All right. So once you add the Navmesh Surface Baker, you can go ahead and click on Bake, and this will create the Navmesh for us. Okay. So an Navmesh is something that Unity use to move AI characters in the scene. So basically it defines all the areas in the scene in which the AI can move. Okay. And along with the Navmesh, it also creates links like this. So this link is saying that the player can jump from here to here, right? So this is how Unity moves the AI character to the scene. So in our case, we also want the AI characters to be able to climb up or jump up onto this obstacle by using parkour actions, right? So for that, we have to do some modifications to the off mesh link. So for that, we can go to Tools, Parkour AI, and select Create off mesh link. So this will modify the off mesh links so that we can also perform parkour actions. So creating that will also create a game object over here called Navmesh link. So we'll be using that later to create custom links that Unity doesn't generate automatically. Okay, so up next, let's add a Parkour AI character that can perform parkour actions using these Navmesh links. So to add a Parkour AI character, I'll go to Tools, FS System, Parkour AI, and I'll select Create Parkour AI Character. And in here, in the FS System setup window, I'll make sure that AI is selected over here, and I'll check the Parkour and Climbing AI checkbox. And then we can also change the character model if you want. So I'll just use a different character model so that we can differentiate between the player and the AI character. All right, I'll use this one and I'll click on the setup button to create the Parkour AI character. All right, it's created over here. So we have to make this AI character follow the player, right? So for that, I'll find the target handler script, and here we have an option to set the default follow target of the AI character. So since we want the AI character to follow the player, I'll drag and drop the player game object over here. Okay, so now if you run the game, the character should come towards us. All right, so yeah, I can see that the character is following the player, and while following the player, he's also performing parkour actions and stuff, right? But one thing I would like to improve here is the AI character could have done a predictive jump, just like a player, right? So if I jump to this point, you can see that the AI character is not directly jumping to the other obstacle. Instead, he's jumping down and then performing a parkour action to climb up. So we can easily fix this and make him jump directly. So the reason why the AI is not jumping from one obstacle to another is because we don't have a Navmesh link from the top of this obstacle to this one, right? We only have a Navmesh link to the Navmesh below. So to make the AI perform predictive jumps from one obstacle to another, we can turn on an option called dynamic predictive jump in the Parkour AI controller. So let me find the Parkour AI controller script, and in here, I'll turn on the dynamic predictive jump checkbox. All right, so now if you run the game, the AI should jump from one obstacle to another. Okay, so now you can see that the AI character is performing predictive jumps and he's jumping directly to the obstacle instead of going down and coming up, right? Let's see AI character. All right, so that is working fine. But the thing about the dynamic predictive jump is that it'll only work if there is a direct path between the AI character and the player. Okay, so let's take a case where the dynamic predictive jump won't work. So we have some obstacles in the air like this. So just to show you a case where the dynamic predictive jump won't work, I'll just put my player on top of one of these tiles. I'll put him on this tile and I'll put my AI character over here. All right, so now the dynamic predictive jump won't work because the AI character will try to perform a predictive jump in this direction, but it has to first go through these obstacles to reach here, right? So if I play the game, you can see that the predictive jumps are not working, right? So that is because the AI character is trying to jump towards the player and not towards this platform. Okay, so in such cases, the dynamic predictive jump won't work, and we'll have to create the Navmesh links manually. Okay, but the good thing is we have a tool with which you can easily create Navmesh links. So just click on the link button in the scene, and this will take you to a Navmesh link editor. And from here, you can click on the start button to start creating Navmesh links. And then to create a Navmesh link, you just have to click and drag. Okay, so I'll click and drag, and I'll place the other point on this platform. Okay, so this will create an ambush link between these 2 points. And by the way, once I create it, you can see that both points are green. So that means this ambush link is okay. But if I place it somewhere above like this, it'll become red, right? That's because we're not able to find a nav mesh close to this point. Okay, so this point has to be close to the nav mesh to which we want to jump. Okay, so creating a nav mesh is pretty easy like this. So we can just create another link here. So I'll just click and drag and create it like this. Okay, and we also need a link from here to here. Okay, and by the way, if you want the link to be wider, you can just click on this and drag it like this. Okay, so this will be useful for wider obstacles like this, right? You can click here and create a link and then make the ambush link wider so that the player will be able to perform the jump from all these areas. All right, but it's not necessary to have a ambush link here. In this case, the player will automatically perform predictive jumps. Okay, so let's go back to the platforms. All right, and let's create links between all these platforms. All right, so I'll just keep on clicking and dragging and I'll create the links. Okay, and here we don't need a link because Unity has automatically generated an ambush link here. So what Unity does is, if the two nav meshes are at the same height, then Unity will automatically create the off mesh links. Otherwise, we'll have to create it manually. Okay, so now since we have this nav mesh links, our player character should be able to jump and reach our player, right? And we can keep moving, and the AI character should follow us. Okay, so that is how you set up predictive jumps for platforms like these, where the dynamic predictive jump won't work. So we have the parkour actions and predictive jump working. So next, we want our AI characters to perform climbing actions, right? So for climbing, we can't place nav meshes in these ledges, right? So we are using our own pathfinding algorithm for performing the climbs, since we can't have nav mesh on these ledges. So here, all you have to do is you have to create a nav mesh link from the start of this nav mesh, the point in which the character enters the climb, and the end of this nav mesh, the point in which the character exits the climb, right? So I click on link and I'll click on start to start creating a nav mesh link, and then I'll create a link from here to here. Okay, and if we create a link like this, then the player will just jump from this point to this point, right? We don't want that. So what we have to do is we have to change the area type from jump to climbable. Okay, so we have lots of area types. Walkable, not walkable, and jump are default area types created by Unity. Climbable is something that we create when the Parkour AI asset is installed. Alright, so this is how you set up climbing. And one thing you have to note here is the endpoint should be close to this ledge, right? So once you bring it close, the ledge from which the player mounts becomes red, right? So in this link, this blue ledge is the starting ledge, and this red ledge is the ending ledge, right? So we use colliders to detect starting and ending ledge. But in some cases, you might want to assign this manually. So in that case, you can turn on manual ledge and pick the starting ledge and ending ledge manually like this. Okay. So if I want the ending ledge to be something else, I can click on that. And now we'll use this ledge as ending ledge, right? But we don't want that. So let me change it back to this ledge. Okay. So this is how we set up climbing. So let's also create a link from here to here. All right. So in this case, the starting and the ending glitch are selected correctly by the program, right? So next we have to create a connection from here to here because the player should be able to climb through this and reach here, right? So we can create a Navmesh link from here to here. All right. So in this case, the starting ledge is not selected correctly, right? The starting ledge is the first ledge of the climbing network to which the character should jump to while he's starting to perform a climb. So this is supposed to be the starting ledge, not the one below. But since it's far away from our Navmesh, the program won't be able to detect it automatically, right? So in this case, we have to select the ledge manually. So I'll click on manual ledge and I'll pick the start ledge and select this. Okay. You can also directly assign it to this field if you want. So this is how we set up climbing. So now the AI character should be able to climb and follow the player. So let me bring the AI character down and see if it can climb and follow the player. Okay, I'll just place it over here. And once we run the game, if I go to the scene view, you can see that the AI character is climbing through these climb points to reach the player. Okay. So yeah, that is working fine. So now the AI character will follow the player even while we are climbing. Okay. And by the way, the AI doesn't have to always follow the player. You can also make the AI go through a set of waypoints and all that. So let me show you how to do that really quick. So to make the AI follow a set of waypoints, first we have to create a list of game objects that will act as waypoints, right? So there's a default waypoints prefab that comes with the system. So let me just use that to save time. Okay. So this is just a list of game objects with just a transform component. All right. And here in the parent game object, we just have a script for visualizing the waypoints. But to do this, you just need a list of transforms. Okay. So let me just place these waypoints on top of some obstacles and see how the AI patrols through it. And by the way, here we can turn off the only draw when selected option so that we can see the whole waypoints network when we are placing each one of them. Okay, so let me just place the first one over here and I'll place the second one somewhere over here. All right, and I'll place the third one over here. So now we have to tell the AI to patrol to these waypoints, right? So for that, we have to add a script called patrol settings. And in here, we have to assign the waypoints. Okay. And here we can also define the speed at which the AI should patrol. So I'll just change it to 4 so that the AI will run. And then in the target handler, we have to remove the follow target so that the AI doesn't follow the player anymore. So I'll just set it back to none. Now if you try running the game, you can see that the AI is patrolling through the waypoints and they are automatically performing the parkour actions. So they'll also climb if it's required to reach the destination waypoint. So the asset comes with the demo scene with multiple Parkour AI characters. Let me just show you one of the demo scenes. All right, so here we have multiple Parkour AI characters, and some of them will follow the player, and some of them will patrol through waypoints, and some of them will even follow other AI characters. All right, you can try running the demo scene and see how each AI works. You can also go through their inspector settings to see how they are set up. By the way, it's pretty easy to integrate Parkour and Climbing AI with other FS system assets like shooter, melee combat, swimming, and all that. So if you have these assets installed in the project, then they'll appear in the setup window. And when creating the AI character, you can select the functionalities you want to add to the AI. So the integration is that simple. So I'll stop the video here. You can go through the documentation if you want to learn more about all the settings that are available in the asset. So thanks a lot for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.